What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl Laur, and today we are going to be doing another camera review. But before I get started, I actually wanted to come forward and say stuff about what's been going on recently. And I know a lot of people go to YouTube to escape from everything that's going on, but I think that I can't just act like everything isn't happening and everything is all fine and dandy, because it's not. There are huge three things going on right now: the Black Lives Movement, the Yemen crisis, and we also have a COVID crisis. All of this is happening at one time, and I know how overwhelming this can be to so many people, including myself. And I just want to say that Black lives do matter. If you do not support that, you can gladly leave my channel. Everyone deserves to be treated equally, not just because of the color of someone's skin. As for COVID, honestly, time is a virtue and patience is key. I think that is the only way that we're gonna be able to get through this together, is literally waiting for that vaccine, and when that vaccine comes out, to get vaccinated. We do not want to have millions of people dying as a result of this, so please stay safe, wash your hands, social distance, and stay inside as much as possible. Just because things are open does not mean that it is safe. So please just take precaution. And lastly, for the Yemen crisis. Yemen is going through a very big starvation humanitarian crisis. A lot of people aren't really talking about it because the government is trying to hide it. We're here and we're upset because things aren't even opening up or anything for people to make money, but these kids don't even know when they're gonna get their next meal. It is so sad to see all these pictures of these young children literally being skin and bones, and that's it. They can't even afford to get food. They don't even know where to get food. All the links are gonna be in my description to donate to these causes, because this is such a big change that we can do just by donating. Also, spreading the word, spreading awareness is so important, and I want people to understand that. I wanted to be able to really come out and expand to my platform. Even though it is small, it's a start. It all starts with one. You're entitled to feel what you're feeling. You have the right to be angry. You have the right to be sad. There's so much going on right now, but the thing that I'm really trying to keep in my head is that the only way we can go from here is up. After this, there's going to be a huge change, and obviously the regular normal was not working out for us. So the links are in the bio, so please go and donate to these causes. It will mean so much to me and everyone else in this world, so let's make a difference. Alright, so now moving on to the video. I'm actually going to be doing another camera review, but instead of Canon, this is going to be a Nikon, and it's going to be my very first camera I've ever had. So I am reviewing the Nikon L320. Let's get started. Okay, so to start, in my last Canon review, I had that camera for about 2 years, and this camera I've had over 8 years. So this has been a real long time baby, and it is really small. You can see there's a little bit of damage done to it because I have used it so much in the past, but I stopped using this when I was about the age of 15, because then I moved on to the Canon Rebel T7, and that was my next step up. I was mainly just looking for cameras to film with, not necessarily take photos. I wasn't into photography at the time, but I started getting more into photography in my early teens. So I really loved this camera at the time, but now that I'm looking at it and know everything about it with the knowledge that I have about photography and video editing, we definitely have some things to talk about with this camera. We're gonna start with the pros, and then we're gonna go into the cons. So to start with, this camera has a megapixel of 16.1 CCD sensor, a 26x optical zoom. For those of you that don't know what a CCD is, a CCD captures light and converts it into digital data that is used by the camera. CCD is otherwise known as a digital version of film. So this is a very small camera, you can see. It even has a little rubber grip right here for your thumb, so whenever you're taking pictures, it is comfortable. So the second pro to this camera, there is a lens shift VR. For those of you that don't know what VR is, it is vibration reduction. VR is basically a image stabilization technology. This will help minimize blur caused by camera shake. So even if your hand is shaking, if you don't have a steady hand, it will definitely help with that as well. The third pro is that in continuous shooting mode, it can record at 1.2 frames per second. That is not the best thing ever. It's really good to have a high rate of that, but it is okay for this little tiny camera. I don't even know what pro this is. There are 18 scene modes for this camera, so you can change filters, you can do self-timer. There is no toggle or NOS to turn, it's actually all through the menu button right here. So you just scroll down on the LCD monitor, and it has a pretty good LCD monitor, I would say, for the size of this camera. I think it's pretty small, and it takes up maybe like 80% of the camera. So that's pretty good when you're trying to figure out which mode you want to shoot in. So again, these also include self-timer, blink-proof alert, there's easy auto mode, regular auto mode, a smart portrait mode, a scene mode, and so much more. So if you want to find out more about those different modes, definitely get this camera. And last pro to this is that actually it takes AA batteries. That's not very common for most cameras. Most cameras actually have a charging port. Having a charging port is really good for long amounts of time for using a camera for battery life, but with AA batteries, they suck the life out of your camera in 2 seconds. The good thing is with the battery life is that you don't need to wait around for a charging port to charge. You can literally just pop in some batteries and be ready to go. I think that's pretty convenient for those that don't have an outlet nearby at all times or are in the wild. You just have some batteries laying around, like boom, put it in there. You're good to go. All right, now we're moving on to cons of this camera. So the first con to this camera is for filming, it is not the best. Same with actually taking pictures. So for videos, the videos are recorded in 720 HD, so that is not the highest that you can go. Right now, it is 4K, and 4K is the best resolution that you can get. So for this, it's okay quality, but it's not the best. That's just a start. It has a low 230K dot resolution. Most cameras use pixels, and that usually means that that number is a lot larger than it usually is compared to this camera. For this camera, the dot resolution is very, very low. To put this in perspective, for 1 pixel, there are 3 dots. Dividing that up for all of the resolution, that means for this camera, the resolution is 320 by 420, comparing to a 1920 by 1080, which is a huge difference. I would not recommend filming on this. This is very, very tiny. It kind of reminds me of one of those little digital Kodak cameras, but it's also that size too. So honestly, I didn't know what I was expecting at the time as well. And we're back to battery life for this con. So for the con, as I stated earlier, they are AA batteries, which can be a plus for people that are traveling a lot and have batteries on hand. But for those people that are at home and they're constantly filming, this camera can die within like a day or two if you're constantly shooting, but that also does depend on the type of batteries that you get. So if you get like alkaline batteries instead of just regular ones, they're gonna perform better. But it also depends on how much you're using this camera. So overall, that's why charging ports were invented, was because it's for people to use their cameras longer. If they need it for a set or a shoot or a session, this doesn't last very well. For ISO performance for this camera, it is not good either. Images are low in noise in ISO 80, 100, and 200. 400 ISO images are soft but have some loss of detail, and then with ISO 800 and up, the detail is almost completely lost and a lot of the color is smudged and it looks a little blurred. For those that don't know what an ISO is, ISO measures the sensitivity of the image sensor, so it usually makes your images a lot sharper and brighter. Unfortunately, that is not the case for this camera either. Usually not the best quality when I take pictures with this camera, and that's why I really had to switch. I realized that I could not be filming with this. I could not take pictures of people with this either. Also, a couple years ago, this was really good technology, and technology is evolving every single day. I'm glad that I had it for the time being, but with all the knowledge that I have now, I would not buy this. If you just need a regular camera for staying at home that you're gonna use every once in a while, yeah, I would buy this camera for sure. But if you're going to be doing professional photo shoots or you want something to film with, this is not your guy. This is not it. Overall, like I said previously, I would compare this to a regular digital camera, the regular little tiny rectangular ones to this. It's pretty much almost the same quality. This could be like a little bit better, but comparing to a DSLR camera, a very good one, this is on the very low spectrum, so I would not recommend it. Especially for YouTubers, I would not recommend it. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really do appreciate it. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and press the subscribe button down below to subscribe to this channel, and also press the bell for the post notifications so you can see every time I post a new video, every single Thursday. Comment down below what camera you have. So that's it for today's video, and I will see you on Thursday. Bye! Donate to the links in the bio.